Saturday, August 31st, and we are here with the post All Out show. Matt, I'm here with Mr. Matt Morgan. Matt, how are you doing tonight?
Hunkering down. We got a Hurricane Dorian coming through here Tuesday.
Yeah. You guys stay safe over there.
Petrified. City's pretty scared. We dodged a bullet. What everyone is saying today, currently with the storm, it trended differently today. It's a path, but we're still going to get hit hard with rains and winds. And boarded my home for the first time since I've lived here since 2006. So,
jeez,
we'll see.
Yeah, they're saying this is the second biggest hurricane, or probably the biggest hurricane since the one in '92. So
I know. I had to do a meeting. I had to do a conference call over the phone with our Governor Ron DeSantis over it. We had yesterday declare a state of emergency here for our city. Just real, scary times,
Yeah. So you guys stay safe. Everyone that's listening, all you guys in Florida, be safe, and we're hoping that everything, obviously everything works out.
This was a great welcome distraction tonight. I couldn't wait for the wrestling show to start.
Yeah. So let's get into it. What were your thoughts on the pay-per-view?
I loved it. I mean, but I'm a huge AEW mark. I got to be honest, obviously. But as the show wore on, the same thing is happening for me, where even the Bucks match, which I was just like, holy crap, this was awesome. It just feels like the show is so long. I think it does a disservice to some of the guys toward the end of the night, because there were some really amazing matches tonight, some really good stories being told, really good in-ring work, which you'll always get on these cards. But the stories, I thought, were really well done, and they're really putting things in gear and setting up some pretty palatable storylines. But again, 4 hours, I just think, even with WWE, I feel the same way. Like, by the end of the WWE pay-per-view, and like Brock and like, let's say Roman Reigns hasn't wrestled yet, and there's still like an hour left in the show, I'm like, I don't even care about this match anymore.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because I'm so exhausted as a fan, especially with this show, because this show, they do so much cool stuff that I feel like I spend all of my, I don't know what the word would be, energy, my fandom, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I kind of thought the same thing. I thought it was a good show. I thought if you include All In as far as the pay-per-views went, this was probably number 3 behind those two. It was still, I thought, pretty good. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good at the I thought it was really good at the beginning. Mm-hmm. Kind of simmered down. The Dark Order match, I was starting to get pretty bored, actually. And then,
Mm-hmm.
At the end it picked up. I love the Cody, Shawn Spears match.
That match was amazing.
And then, Jericho, Omega, Jericho, jeez, I'm pretty beat myself. Jericho Page was good too. But let's get started. So the show opened up with the Casino Battle Royale. 21 women. A lot of surprises in here. Tennille Dashwood, it was reported that she might be coming in. She's with Impact. It was kind of like a one-night agreement for her to come in.
I didn't know she was with Impact. Okay.
Yeah. Bea Priestley was in there. Jazz. Awesome Kong was announced for it. There were some other surprises. Ivelisse, she was announced for it before, but I was kind of surprised with Tennille Dashwood how they didn't make it a bigger deal. It was just kind of like, oh, there she is.
To be fair, I didn't know she was with Impact, and I consider myself like not like a smart fan anymore. I consider myself more of a mainstream fan, watching SmackDown and Raw every week, and then NXT. But that's really the extent of my weekly wrestling viewership, right? Mm-hmm. I don't watch Impact. So I didn't know she was even with them. So say they did make a big deal about it. If I'm average Joe, do I care?
Yeah.
Is it a step down from AEW? AEW needs to treat Impact like it's a step down, quite frankly. If I'm AEW, I would never mention Impact. I would consider that like an indie company if I'm AEW, at least.
And they pretty much did. They didn't even mention Impact on commentary. So
they didn't? Okay. Yeah. I thought I may have missed it. I just, the girls, holy crap, that was a star-studded event, in my opinion. I dug, there were so many good talents in that ring, dude.
Yeah.
And what I really dig about AEW, once again, I was introduced to new talents that I've not seen before. There's a couple names I've heard or seen written somewhere on your sites, for reports and things like that, but I've never seen them, right? And others I have, but not under a certain spotlight that AEW gave them, like Mercedes Martinez, for instance.
Right.
She was given a really good spotlight, I thought, tonight. And she came out like a huge star. A lot of them did. Who was the blonde girl? with the green outfit, with the green wrestling gear.
Not Penelope Ford, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think she's got a hell of a look. I mean, amongst all those stars that were in that ring, I thought she stood out to me.
Yeah.
Looks go, work. Her work is better than I expected it to be. Because I've seen her as a manager before, right?
Right.
Yeah. Man, there's so many others out in that.
ODB was in there.
Oh my God, yeah, duh, yeah. ODB, like, okay, I remember. Real quick sidebar. At Impact Wrestling, I remember when she was coming in, and were giving her that name. I was like, you are guaranteed to get chance every single time you come out. You get that, right? And she was like nodding, yeah, and just all excited. Jess was all excited to be starting, but she really wasn't selling, But true to form, it doesn't matter where she goes, what the context is, people will always chant ODB.
Yeah, and
I was happy for her.
And she looked good in there. You could tell they didn't focus too much on the women that aren't under contract, like Jazz, like ODB.
Yes.
Which makes complete sense. But still, it was great seeing them. And to your point, Mercedes Martinez, she was number 21. Superstar reaction, looked great out there. I thought like AEW's women's division was kind of weak, and then saw this tonight, and there are actually a lot of women out there.
I am very interested in seeing more storylines. Like I was at a point where I was like, there's so many great talents in this ring. Why are they giving away a singles women's match to these other two girls that I don't care anything about? They could have picked any of these girls in this battle royal that I would have cared way more about in singles competition.
Yeah. And to that point, Nyla Rose winning the battle royal. And so she's going to be facing Rijo, and we'll get to that later, for the AEW Women's title on October 22nd in Washington, D.C.
What's the big deal with Rijo? I don't get it. I'm still not getting it.
She's got like a good like babyface, fire. I don't know. They're not the two I would have chosen, but I think they're trying to get new talent out there as opposed to the same established talent.
Okay, real quick, Dr. Britt Baker, making up names. Dr. Britt Baker. Okay, we're talking about how AEW, we want more character development, right? Mm-hmm. They're really trying. You can see they're really delving in, and they're listening. I guarantee you, they're listening to the Billy Guns. I bet you Cody as well, and others that are trying to create layered characters, or start the first layer at least. And it's not just spot fests and things like that. They're giving them characters. With Britt Baker, for instance, something as super small as her reaching into the girl's mouth and ripping on her teeth to get her over the top rope. At first I was like, it's kind of campy, but then I was like, well, not really. We keep bitching and moaning that they don't have any characters here. They're trying at least to establish her character. They're going to keep pushing the dentist thing. Will it work or not? I don't know, but at least they're trying to make it a gimmick behind the talent, which is important. She got a great reaction. And here's my next thing. If you're the talent that is having a mandible claw put in your mouth, or in this case, Britt Baker's fingers in your mouth, pulling on your teeth, bite. For the love of God, I never understood this. When Mankind would do the mandible claw, I'd be like, take her, just bite his fingers. Just bite.
Yeah. Well, that's like when someone's doing a dive at you and you're outside the ring. You just move out of the way. If you're like standing there.
Yeah. Catch himself. You got it? You good? You good? Okay. I'll fall now.
Yeah. That's like the one that gets me is when they do the double stomp from the ropes and the guy is holding himself onto the ropes. Like Alberto Del Rio did that for his finisher for a while.
When the dude like kind of sits up.
And you're like holding yourself to take the move.
You're doing a sit up, which is hard as hell. It hurts your legs, by the way, to do that, and then your abs. Yeah, you're right.
So it was better than I thought it would be. So Nyla Rose getting the win.
I really liked this a lot. This was one of my favorite parts. I'll be honest.
It was definitely good. And it was one of those that with WWE, when they do the Women's Royal Rumble, they rehearse it. They take the women off the road that weekend. They rehearse it. They
do.
Yeah. And you'll see photos like of all the women like posing, at the rehearsal. So they didn't do that here.
Happened at wrestling.
Right. Up next, we had Private Party, Mark Queen, and Isaiah Kennedy versus Jack Evans and Helyco.
His name Quinn or Queen?
Is it Quinn? I thought it was Quinn. It's Mark Quinn, I think.
He is the stud of that team. I don't care what anybody says.
Yeah.
He can be a breakaway talent by himself, in my opinion.
Yeah. And these guys were over. They did a lot of cool stuff. Jack Evans and Helyco. And Helyco, man, his gear, I just can't. it hurts my eyes.
It's an eyesore. It distracts you, and he's a good-looking kid.
Yeah.
He doesn't get all that crap on him.
Yeah, he just looks like he's doing slow motion, capture work for a video game.
Mocap, yep.
Yeah.
He does.
So, I mean, this was just tons of high flying, really cool stuff. The fans were into it, private party chants. The finish saw Quen hit a super poison run on Evans. And yeah, the private party hit the finisher and got the win. Crowd was happy. After the match, Evans and Helyco attacked private party, and the crowd chanted "party poopers."
I didn't know that's what they were chanting. It's hilarious. Good job, fans. But I like the heat, though. I did like the heat by Evans and Helyco afterwards.
Yeah. No, I think they're a good team. They just need to, like we said, just change that gear. It looks like shit. They did this little promo mini movie for Wardlow.
Oh my god! How did I not open the show with that? That, my friend, was my first or second. I'm not exaggerating. My second thing of the show.
Did you ever watch Lucha Underground?
I only saw what's his name, Vampiro's thing they did with him once.
Okay, because they used to always do these promo videos where one guy beats up like 5 guys at a bar, and they would always have masks on. So
I'm huge for it. I mean, out loud going, holy bleep, this guy's a star. Whoever this guy is just became a star.
Yeah, and he looked good, and it just right off the bat, it sets him up as a badass.
This is the power of a really strong vignette. We've been saying WWE for freaking how many years now? Go back to old school vignettes, but with new school technology. That was awesome when he caught him in the choke slam and was holding him. It looked like he was holding him up off his feet. Yeah. Well, for sure the dude's standing on top of a table or something like that in real life. It doesn't matter. It didn't take me out of the moment. And I was like, whoever this dude, I kept thinking it was Aldis because I couldn't see all the way. I thought it was him and his valet when they were walking slowly toward the camera.
Right.
I was like, she's not big enough to be Camille. Camille's jacked. But anyways, whoever that guy is, I've never heard of him, but now I want to watch him. Yeah,
and that's the name he uses on the indies. So,
where's he from? I never heard of him. He's a good-looking guy too. Another star.
Yeah, I'm not really familiar with him either. So, yeah, it seems like a good find.
Maybe I'm behind the times here on this, but like that technology they're using, you said Lucha Libre was doing a lot with it. Yeah. How come nobody else is doing that?
I don't know.
Or are they?
Not that I haven't seen anything like that.
That was dramatic looking, and that looked like a legit movie to me.
Yeah, definitely. It looked like a movie style promo.
That it was made. If they can get that on TNT, look out. They can do more things like that.
Yeah. So the AEW post show also is going on right now. Pac, I keep calling him Pac, just challenged Adam Page on the post show. So that looks like that's where they're headed. I don't know for the next pay-per-view or for TV, but
I have a lot to say about that match. But
yeah. So the Wardlow wrestles for IWC in Pittsburgh is what some people in the chat are saying. So
dude looks like a star and a half to me.
Yeah. Up next, then we went to the main show. JR came out. We had SoCal Uncensored, Christopher Daniels, Scorpio Sky, and Frankie Kazarian against Jungle Boy, Luchasaurus, and Marco Stunt. I thought this was a super hot opener. This was one of the best 6-man tags I think I've seen this year.
Wasn't this really good? Really quick, fans in the chat room, really quick, were you guys fans of Marco Stunt being in the match? Yes or no? Go. Let me know what they say in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
Really quick, really happy about this match. I was really happy about Luchasaurus always getting over. He's a big guy. He's athletic. I'm always a fan of that, obviously. And that dude, I like Jim Ross. I know JR. JR says the same crap about me when he's come down to OVW and call our matches. I know JR's like had a raging you-know-what out to here during that match, watching that big guy do all that stuff, Yeah. He's so talented. His kicks are nasty.
Yeah. So far, pretty much all knows. There's a couple of yeses, but pretty much all knows about Marco Stunt.
Because they got to be careful with him because I dig his story. He's a huge fan. We all are. He offers something that's very different. The only thing that I'm stuck on is once it comes to a fight. I mean, is he he couldn't be even heavy enough to pin somebody technically. I should sneeze and he should go flying off my chest if he ever covered me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So like there's some unrealisticness to it at times. They got to be careful of it because it takes in my opinion, it also takes away from Jack Evans. What's his name? Jim Ross kept calling him Jungle Jack.
Yeah, I don't think
Over
Jim Ross knows his name is Jungle Boy. He kept calling him Jungle Jack Perry.
It felt like he's like refusing to call him his gimmick name.
Yeah.
But Jungle Boy is a great seller. He's the diminutive of the two between him and his dinosaur.
Right.
With the other guy who's smaller than him, it takes away a little bit from Jack when he's selling and getting that sympathy because he's not the smallest of the three.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's part of their dynamic.
Yes.
Yeah, is Jungle Boy's a small guy, and then you got this giant monster. And yes, like Jungle Boy looks like a normal sized guy now. Next one.
Yes. Yeah. And I don't know. I'm not a big fan of the floss and the gimmick he does in the ring and all that other stuff. And when somebody clotheslines him or hits him, I'm always thinking the dude's going to get like legitimately hurt. I don't know. I don't know because he's got a cool story, and I love dudes that were huge fans and they get their break too. So it's tough.
Yeah. No, I agree. And they were called the Jurassic Express, so it's not as bad as the Viking Experience, but.
Oh my god! I thought they were called. What was it? The two boys and their dinosaurs. I thought they called them. I don't know.
Well, I mean, they mentioned the Jurassic Express a couple times, but yeah, we'll see. SCU looked great. Christopher Daniels doesn't age
ever. There it is, Kaz. A huge pop for Jim Ross saying that Kaz has his best days still in front of him, though. Like he's some upping. I know he's a veteran, but I think his upside's still yet to. What? No, I would argue as good as he is today, he's nasty. But he had 5-star matches, barn burners with AJ and Joe, and lots of guys in our X division, and then with Daniels in that tag team they formed eventually, TNA versus Beer Money and everybody like that. But to be saying like, I don't know. There's a lot of stuff JR said tonight that I was just like, JR, what are you doing?
I mean, he was like, so when's the women's title match? And he just seemed like he doesn't pay attention to the product at all.
Oh, my God. Yeah, Jungle Jack.
Jungle Jack. I mean, he can wing it great, and he can tell the story.
And he adds prestige. Everybody going through the channels, mainstream fans haven't watched wrestling since The Rock and Stone Cold bounced out of wrestling, right? And they retired. Yeah. Clicking through, they're going to hear Jim Ross's voice, and he may make them stop. I think he would. I would. I'd stop if I heard JR.
Yeah. I almost feel like he needs a heel with him, like a heel commentator, because I don't know, him with those other guys, that dynamic, it just seems.
He needs somebody he respects too, because you can feel it from a mile away. He doesn't respect these younger ones.
He's trying, like he's forcing it at times.
And when his shoe comments come out, he jabrones them every time.
Yeah.
You can't have that. You got to have the heel jabroning him a little bit, like King used to do all the time.
Right, exactly. So, anywho, SCU picked up the win here. They pinned Jungle Boy for the win. I was kind of surprised about that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. But yeah, solid opener. It wasn't that long.
The opening in the show, Raj, really quick, I thought was way too long. Of them sitting there talking and opening up the show.
Okay.
The announce team, that took forever.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with. I just felt like 4 hours. By the end, I felt like with the Jericho match, I just was getting out of it. Like I was having a hard time staying into that match, and it's Jericho.
Yes. Yeah.
Up next, I was surprised they had this on this early. Pac defeating Kenny Omega by a TKO with the Brutalizer submission. There's a ref stoppage, which I thought Pac was going to win, but not by a ref stoppage. So I was just shocked by that ending.
I thought it was very original. I liked that. I thought it was very unpredictable. It lends itself to the realness of what a real fight can happen, what can happen in a real fight. Maybe not that hold where the guy's actually holding him up in the air while he puts a hold on him, obviously. Yeah. You would just drop on the guy as hard as you can, is what I would imagine. If I have a guy around my back or up on my shoulders or whatever, I would jam him on the ground as hard as I can with all my weight, and he would break hold of the move. But with that said, I do like how it came out of nowhere. It was original. And I got to be honest, I don't like Pac beating him. I love Pac. I love him, and I did not like how Jim Ross was kind of putting him. He went back and forth. He'd go from zero to hero, and how he would talk about Pac. Don't judge a book by its cover. What do you mean don't judge a book by its cover? He looks like a freaking action figure, especially on this roster. That dude looks jacked, and he looks like a star. He's not an up-and-comer. He does have a very established name. He's not some like young whippersnapper like nipping at the heels of veteran Kenny Omega. He's just as, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He wrestles for WWE. If anything, I would argue he's had much more mainstream exposure than Kenny Omega has.
Yeah,
to some degree. I mean, the New Japan people make the argument more people watch whatever, but still.
No, more people don't watch New Japan than WWE. So
I don't know what the ratings are for somebody to say, "Oh, everyone watches New Japan."
Yeah, no, and JR was also saying like Kenny Omega and his losing streak in AEW, he's won every match except for one. So again, JR
to find himself again and
right.
blah blah blah. It wasn't. I didn't like the stuff, especially about Pac. I thought that was a bad idea. And he'd go again from zero to hero about it, because he'd say these things like he was like to some young up and comer, like he was doing about Kaz earlier, and then it would go 2 main event talent, folks. Huh? You just got done telling me this guy's fighting for respect and wants to be the center of attention, the center of attraction for a company one day, the main event talent. Then you just called him a main event talent like 2 seconds later, literally a minute later.
Yeah.
Which is it?
Yeah, and this was interesting that they had this match on this early. Traditionally, AEW, they've went in order of importance. So you start with the least important match and build it, build. Today they did it WWE style, where you have a big match early on, then you do the cool down, then you go back. And I kind of like the other way that they do it, where every match just gets bigger and bigger. Because I felt like when they had the cool down, I don't know. I just thought I started getting bored in the middle.
And they got to be careful because you have really good, talented guys and gals that could really work really great matches, and they give them a lot of time on top of it. So if you're going to front end your show with a really potential main event match like that, I would argue, you got to be careful, because then the next match is effed.
Yeah.
The next 2 matches, I would argue, are effed.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you about Omega losing again. I just feel like his star power, he just doesn't feel as big of a star as he did last year. And
no, he doesn't.
These losses kind of hurt him.
And they are hurting him, and also the dialogue and what they're saying about him. They just need to keep feeding this dude's wrestler of the year in back-to-back years. I didn't know that. What? You guys need to be freaking screaming that.
Yeah.
Like we have the best wrestler in the world.
Yeah. He comes across as a normal guy watching this. And
he himself does that with his overly, like, I don't even know what to call his body language that he does out there, but is in between his move stuff, he's still figuring it out, is what I've determined tonight. Yeah. He's still figuring out who he is, because he went pretty far out there, I thought, tonight with a lot of his body language, his facials, his reactions, and things that were just like I've never seen him do before. You know, I've seen him do it in interviews, but not during a match as much. And I didn't dig it. A lot of it felt uncomfortable to me, almost heelish at times, some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean by his facials and his expressions?
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, so people listening, I don't want it to sound like we're crapping on this match, because this was actually my favorite match on this show, and I thought I love the ending.
It was my second favorite match.
Yeah, but I've been watching this. I was watching it tonight, just thinking of that they're going to be on a mainstream, television outlet, and how this is going to translate to a new audience. Are they going to bring in new fans with that? And so many of these guys, they work great in the ring, but I don't see them as these personalities that are going to draw new audiences. Jericho will, but they need more guys like that. Jericho came across as a superstar. Not many other guys I felt like tonight did. Cody did, but I felt like not many other guys did.
So did his opponent, I thought, Spears.
Yeah, the Spears, that was the...
He came across as a star tonight, too. And there were some others, obviously. We thought Luchasaurus definitely came across like a star.
Yeah.
Gimmicky or not, I thought he looked very different than everybody else, and he got a great reaction. But back to Omega. We were watching him hit the ropes. Like, everything he does in that ring is like at 100 miles an hour. He's so damn talented. It's insane how talented he is. But again, this is the best wrestler in the world. Why are they not screaming it on their microphones? Like, Pac just beat the best wrestler in the planet, folks. Mr. 6-star match himself was just beat. If you're gonna put this guy over on him, but to begin with, should not be putting anybody over on him. Kenny should be like damn near undefeated, in my opinion.
That's kind of what I feel too.
Like, what the hell are they doing beating him?
Yeah,
especially my guy. Is Pac signed? Is he signed to a deal with them?
Yeah. So he's with them. I think
for that at least.
Yeah.
I'm like, if they're freaking having their guy, like, Kenny's got to, like, you don't want to be a mark for yourself if you're one of these executive, what do they call, vice presidents or whatever they're called?
Yeah.
There's their title, and say, oh, I'm not going to lose. But you also have to protect yourself a little bit, especially when you're that big of a talent. He's a big ass talent, man. And it's important what they do with him because he could eventually be somebody, I will say this, that will make mainstream fans stick around. Jericho will get them to watch, but when you watch Kenny's matches and what he does athletically, I think he's one of them, like Young Bucks, that people will be like, okay, I'm gonna tune in again and see what they do next week. Yeah. I hope that's my hope for them.
And I hope Kenny carries himself around more like his shit don't stink.
Like he's King Banana. Yes, he's almost too. It's a good thing. He's so humble, and that's a good thing. You would think, but in wrestling, one of the lessons I learned from Vince himself: don't play a wrestler, be one. Like when we're acting, nobody here's a real wrestler for Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar. Every one of us will get our asses worked probably against a shoot, But I understood what he meant 2 or 3 years later when I was with Impact, and it was everything you do and how you handle yourself from backstage, but more importantly, in front of that camera.
Yeah.
You've got to act like the King Banana as far as being a main event talent, and everything you say and how you carry yourself, how you dress, the whole kit and caboodle is so important. And Kenny's still figuring that part out, which is kind of scary. If he's the best wrestler on the planet already,
in ring he's
2 years from now. Good Lord.
Yeah, absolutely. And I could also see they're holding off on him being in that main event picture, but I still feel like he's got this mystique about him. So many people know him from his matches in New Japan. Treat him like he's something super, super special.
So don't ever let him lose.
Yeah, exactly.
At least not yet.
Right.
I would have saved his losses, but whatever.
But that being said, it was an awesome match.
Hell yeah! Oh my god, dude, these guys! Oh my god, yes. Did you see Pac hit his leg on that damn guardrail?
Oh yeah.
What in the hell? I thought he was dead. I literally thought his leg was broke.
Yeah. And when I'm talking about people carrying themselves like stars, Pac does. He
does.
He looks like he's like that in real life. Like he'd just be a miserable guy. You don't want to approach him. And there's not many guys that do that.
No, he believes his shtick is what it looks like to me.
Yeah.
And therefore it's not a shtick. I'm invested that this guy's a real little bastard.
Yeah.
And he's a little Tasmanian devil. Yeah.
Up next, we had Jimmy Havoc versus Joey Janela versus Darby Allin in a 3-way Cracker Barrel clash.
I love this, by the way. I did like this.
Yeah, if hardcore matches are your thing, I mean, this thing was pretty insane.
No, but they're usually not. I don't want to say they are because they're not.
Yeah.
But holy crap, some of the stuff they did in this match.
They did some crazy stuff. Like not to where I was like freaking out, but where I was like, I couldn't watch. There was that spot where they had Jimmy Havoc in the chair. They put thumbtacks in his mouth and then duct tape his mouth.
What about the skateboard with thumbtacks on it?
Oh, jeez, yeah. Darby Allin brought out a skateboard with thumbtacks on it. They were doing paper cut spots of all things. With all this madness, they did paper cut spots, and the crowd was going insane over that. There's a Cracker Barrel chant. We want barrels.
Oh my God! What about Darby Allin doing the what's it called, coffin drop, whatever it's called, where he jumps off backwards?
Where you did that on the barrel?
With a barrel?
With the barrel to the back. Oh,
on top of, regardless, if you want to say, okay, that barrel was made out of friggin' paper mache, okay, so let's say you want to say that, fine. He still landed on the steps.
Right.
Dude, the steps sucks. There's nothing I would rather land, like all the things to land on with a bump, I'd rather bump on a concrete floor than the steps.
Yeah. It's one of those matches, really fun to watch. I cringed a lot, not because it was bad, but because the stuff they were doing was just insane.
What commitment? What sort of sacrifice? What commitment to it? And Joey Janela, I thought shined really, really big tonight.
Yeah, Janela looked great. Havoc got the win. I was kind of surprised with that. I thought it was going to be Darby Allin.
But out of the three, isn't he the least impressive though? Like if you look at the three of them.
Yeah, I think Darby Allin's the most. So that's
yeah.
And they had him go with and he went to the draw with Cody. So I thought they'd give him a little something here.
He can work. He doesn't have to do this crap. And he can be a star. He doesn't have to do the hardcore stuff if he doesn't want to. He can work a normal match and really push the limit like we saw with Cody. He was the action of that match. If you go back and watch with Cody, he created all the movement, all the action.
And I know people are going to hate me for saying this, but I feel like he's got to tone it down because the stuff he's doing is too crazy. He's not
To
going to
get
last
hurt,
long.
to get hurt, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
he'll get hurt.
Yes.
He's not going to last long with his career if he keeps doing this stuff. But
And I think Mick Foley, everybody does it eventually. They find the gimmick, they find the sock in their pants, and they're putting it in people's mouth before they know it. It eventually happens to all the smarter and bigger star wrestlers that were, do King of Hardcore stuff. And that's the difference between the ones that have made it and became main event talents, like a Mick Foley, like Terry Funk, and others like that, versus others like that are still in Japan that we don't really have heard of. But if you go to Japan, they're super over, right?
Yeah.
Because they didn't make that transition
Yep.
that was needed to add years to their career.
Yeah. So we had all that thumbtacks. At one point, they grabbed a tennis racket. Janela grabbed a tennis racket from under the ring, taking a little shot at Jim Cornette, tossing it aside. And yeah,
I did not like that, Joey Janela. Leave my boy alone.
Jim Cornette and AEW, they're not. They don't get along. But the finish off, Havoc hit a Rainmaker on Janela through a barrel and got the win. Fun match, hard to watch at times, but really, really fun. The crowd loved it.
It was a fun match. I mean, it was. It's not my thing. It's really. I swear to you, I know I'm acting like it is, like hardcore matches. I love them and stuff, but I don't. Yeah. I did like this one.
Yeah.
Because think about the match that just preceded it.
Yeah.
Remember I just said you have a Kenny Omega match, and then that early in the show, crap. I feel I would not want to be the next match or even the second match after that, after those guys got done with him and Pac. But this was the perfect match, quite frankly, to reset it.
Yeah. Well, it sucked with the next match after it.
Yes,
you had the Dark Order against the Best Friends. The winner getting a bye in the first round.
It should have been on the pre-show. Sorry.
It should have, totally. 100%. Fans were not into it.
Was the girls' match on the pre-show?
Yeah.
The girls' Battle Royale should have been in this.
Yeah. Them and Private Party, that match was on the pre-show as well.
Oh my God, that's right. Even that match too. Yeah, good call.
Yeah, I mean, this one has stakes, but
it's Dark Order. No offense, I feel bad saying this because the one guy in Dark Order looks like a wrestler at least.
Yeah, Stu Grayson.
Yeah, and he's good. But the other one, I'm sorry, it's corny as hell. I feel like silly for watching it.
I look tougher than two of the guys in this match.
Yes,
with Uno and Chuck Taylor, and I don't mean to be ripping them, but if you're showing a friend that never watches wrestling and you're showing these guys, two of those guys don't look like athletes.
No, and you're going to TNT, dude. Get in the gym and do whatever the hell you got to do. It doesn't mean you'll be some like big steroid monster or something stupid like that. It's outdated anyway now, anyways. But look like an athlete. Mm-hmm. Get your butt in the gym, get on a diet, do whatever you got to do. Because I've seen Chuck Taylor. He didn't look like that when I first met him. Yeah. He was lean. Do you know what I mean? And you guys have a really good tag team.
Yeah.
And you have a partner who looks like $1 million. That would drive me insane. I used to tag with Jindrak, okay? And it drove me up the wazoo that this dude was way more shredded than me. So I was in the gym doing everything I could to try to catch up with him. That's the truth.
Yeah.
I was bigger than him, but I wasn't as shredded. And that's the way you should be. You should be so competitive like that. Or, hey, I want to look like a main event talent, and get your butt in the gym and be appreciative of the opportunity you have with this company. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? You're about to take TV real estate from somebody else. You better look like an athlete.
Yeah, you want to look like a star. And the big guy, Uno, with the mask, the mask kills it too. It just makes
it looks like sexual, what's the word I'm thinking of? Like S&M or something weird like that, right?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that movie 8mm with Nicolas Cage? There was this S&M thing with the big dude with the mask.
But that's the movie though. I didn't see it.
Yeah, but that's what he looks like.
I don't like it. I don't know why they give them so much run on their show. I don't get it.
Yeah. So this was the definite low point on the show. The fans weren't into it. They were chanting "spooky perverts" at one time. This was pretty one-sided. The Dark Order pretty much dominated this match, and they got the win after hitting the fatality on Taylor.
Why? How?
They're going with him. I don't get it. The fans aren't. It's like the librarian thing. At least they're not going hard with the librarian thing anymore. But.
And they're making fun of how bad they know it is. So that's maybe there's something more to it than we know. But yeah, this was. I don't get why they're getting run on their TV show.
Yeah. The next part was probably a highlight for you. The lights went out, and out when they came back on, out was Orange Cassidy. got a huge superstar reaction. I mean, these guys were into Orange Cassidy.
He also got a huge superstar reaction when the fan in the crowd, they were zooming in to different people at the beginning of the show when Jim Ross and them were talking forever, panning into the audience, which was cool because they were excited fans. They had a dude wearing an Orange Cassidy shirt, and he got a huge pop for wearing that shirt. So I was like, oh, crap. If Cassidy comes out tonight, he's going to get a big pop.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah. So, someone's pointing out that the fans weren't quiet. They weren't. They were the quietest in this match for any other match, but it wasn't like it was completely dead or anything. But it was the weakest match on the show.
For fan reaction.
Yeah, for fan
the
reaction.
Tag match.
Yeah, and regular action. I mean,
I felt so.
Yeah. But Orange Cassidy came out, gigantic reaction. He did the tope suicida with his hands in his pocket. Jim Ross... At one point, he said something like, "Who is this guy?" or something like that. And then
this blue raspberry, who the hell is it?
There was this one King of the Ring where they had this football guy, Art Donovan, on commentary who didn't know anyone on the pay-per-view. And like Lex Luger came out, he's like, "Hey, who's the fellow with the American flag?" Like at times. But anyway, but JR, afterwards said, "Oh, I know who he is. It's Orange Cassidy." He called him Mr. Laissez-faire. Anyway, cool moment, Orange Cassidy. It'll be interesting to see how he's used, but he was super over here.
Because remember what I said. Here's where the Catch-22 and me being completely contradictory of my own self, I'm about to be here. I'm a fan of wrestling not looking so overly cooperative. I think that's very important for the art of wrestling, right? When I watch the show, I want to see either two guys or two girls go at it in a fight and have stakes at hand and me know a little bit about each one and therefore start to emotionally invest in one or the other or hate the other and really like the other. But while they carry that out to see who wins and loses, I don't want to see it where it's overly cooperative, where there's obviously cooperation going on. Everybody knows that. But I don't want it put right in front of my face, right? With that said, this is the contradictory part. Why do I like Orange Cassidy so much then?
I know, same here.
Explain it to me, because I don't understand it. If this was me 5 years ago, I would punch myself in the face for loving it. But I love it. I can't get enough of it. There's nothing else I could tell you guys. I still YouTube them. I'm his biggest fan. I don't get it.
I can't stop watching it.
I think, you know what I think it is? I think it's because I was saying this the first time I thought I discovered him, and you guys are like, yeah, dude, he's been wrestling for like 3 years. How do you not know who this is? When I thought I discovered him, remember?
Right.
And this Orange Cassidy guy, have you guys heard of him? Anyways, and I was watching all the stuff, and I just could not stop laughing. And I was like, well, isn't that the point, though? Like, wrestling's supposed to be entertainment. I'm supposed to be entertained while watching the show. Here's a guy doing something that I've never seen before. I'm getting good entertainment out of it. I'm laughing my ass. I'll wake up my wife up at 4 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like, what's wrong with that?
Yeah. My wife, I put on Omega versus Okada. She couldn't sit through it. I put on Orange Cassidy, and she's watching it.
It's different.
It's just so different. It's so unique. I don't know how he keeps his sunglasses on. He did that suicide dive with his hands in his pocket, sunglasses on, and they stayed on the whole time. So I don't know if he's gluing them to his ears or what, but man.
I can hear Jim Cornette saying, well, if a good car crash is fun to rubberneck too and look and watch, but you don't want to be involved in one, do you? You know, so it's like, I see both sides of it, right? No. But I can't help. I'm not going to lie to the fans that watch this show and say I'm not super entertained by him, because I am. I'm a huge fan.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that hate Orange Cassidy. They hate that gimmick.
And I see
and I get it. Yeah.
I used to be, I would have been this guy any other time. I would have.
Yeah.
But I can't deny, like, how much I pop for it. I'd be lying to you guys.
Yeah, no. I personally hate the Joey Ryan gimmick. I get why some people like it. I'm not a fan. But Orange Cassidy is one I wouldn't think I would like. If someone described it to me, I'd be like,
I would say I'd hate it. Yes.
Yeah.
Me too.
You watch it. So
I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I think it's just different. It gives me a break in the show. It gives me a break in wrestling, because wrestling, I gotta remember, I wrestled myself for about almost 13 years. I've seen everything. At least I think I have. Yeah. So when I see something that's this different, that's a big part of it too, I think, because I think it's so hard to be super original and do something nobody's done before. I think that's next to impossible in today's day and age.
Yeah.
That hasn't been done at some point in some form or fashion. Maybe that's a big part of it too. I respect and trying to really think outside the box with something different.
Yeah. I hope they use them sparingly on TV because it could get old.
You have to. You have to. You cannot have them on every week. Unfortunately, I'm not trying to script your paycheck, brother. But I want them to last, and I think that's how you make them last. You got to be careful with who you pair him with as well.
Yeah. Up next, we had Rijo versus Hikaru Shida, the winner of this, getting the AEW Women's Championship match against Nyla Rose. I thought this was fine. It was good. I didn't like it. You didn't like it?
I didn't care about either talent. What I said to you earlier is what I kept thinking. Why didn't they have any of these other girls in that Battle Royal have this slot on the card in a singles match? I would have cared about any one of them more.
Yeah.
I mean, they're good. I just don't care about them. I care a lot more about, Britt Baker and other talents that were in that Battle Royal.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was kind of the same way. I was finding myself pretty bored. I was getting bored during this part, after that last match. Mm-hmm. Orange Cassidy, I popped for it, but that was, 30 seconds. And then this match, I wasn't getting into it. But they worked hard. You could tell, they're good. But the crowd was, the crowd was pretty good for it. Rijo got the win. Nyla Rose came out. And when they were doing that stare down, I was like, I do not feel this match at all. But I could tell the story that they're trying to tell. This big monster with Nyla Rose, the small girl with Rijo.
David Goliath,
yeah. So that's your women's championship match. Now up next, Cody Rhodes versus Shawn Spears, which I love this match. I thought it was great.
Hell yeah, who didn't?
My thing was when they were dressed up like the Star Trek characters at the beginning.
I felt like I was missing an inside joke.
I don't know what it was, but
was there an inside joke I missed?
I don't. Maybe it was something from Being the Lead. I don't know, but this is a grudge match, and you're dressed up like Star Trek guys. It's just, I don't know. I thought that part was weird, but it's a minor thing. But Cody was out. Shawn Spears had these crazy contacts, and he was out there with Tully Blanchard.
It worked for him.
Yeah, it looked cool.
It worked.
It looked cool. Mm-hmm. These guys beat the hell out of each other in this match. Mm-hmm. It reminded me, the beginning kind of reminded me of, the match itself was nothing. It wasn't nothing like Bret Hart versus Steve Austin. But the beginning when they're brawling in the stands and it was just this fight, it kind of had that Bret Hart Steve Austin WrestleMania match feel to it.
There's a lot of realness. It felt to me like a lot of heat between the two, even though they're friends in real life. They made me feel it. How great was, I thought, the use and the tip of the hat to Arn and Tully.
Yeah,
incredibly well done. I don't want to say, well, why the hell is what's his name? I was gonna call him JFK. What's his name?
MJF.
MJF. God, I'm old, folks. I apologize. MJF, who's probably like my second favorite guy on that show. Yeah. Anyways, like him selling for Tully and whatnot. Okay, but Arn coming out, that was a cool surprise. It worked in the moment. He still throws a nasty spine buster. But I liked it. I didn't think, because I get on WWE a lot and say, why do you keep reaching back to the stars of yesterday? Push the young talent instead. And the young talent needs to go over on the older talents when you bring them in. But this is not us me being contradictory towards that. This is me noticing there's a very big difference in how they utilize these older talents in this storyline. It worked. It hit.
Yeah,
I would have taken the camera off Tully as he was just aimlessly walking back to the ramp to somehow follow and gain pursuit on Arn and went into the opposite tunnel. I wouldn't have showed that. They've got to stop showing the guys going back through the tunnels, especially those who've never been on the show before, because they always get it wrong, i.e. Bret Hart tonight with Tully going in the wrong tunnel where he just saw Arn go to the right. Why the hell would he go to the left? Don't put yourself in that moment. Get the camera back to the ring anyway.
Yeah.
Just say, hey, Tully's giving chase to Arn with a very, quizzical look on his face. He doesn't understand what's going to turn on him or whatever have you. So many things you can say. You don't have to show him and waste 30 seconds of a guy who's not acted in quite a few years having to now act.
Right. Yeah, so for people who didn't watch the show, Tully kept interfering. Finally, Arn Anderson came out. Place just exploded when he came out. Hit a spine buster on Shawn Spears and then went to the back. Tully went to the back. And I tweeted how almost exactly 30 years ago. SummerSlam 89 was one of the first SummerSlams that we bought on pay-per-view, and I was super excited for it. And the opening match was Tully and Arn against the Hart Foundation. So it's just this weird nostalgia thing.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That
So
is cool. This was a great match, though. Back to Cody and Shawn.
yeah.
These both. Now, here's an example of two guys physically speaking alone. I don't know anything about either guy, let's say. Look like ass kickers, athletes, stars.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
No flips, no dives. It was just an old school fight wrestling match that felt heated. Earl Hebner was the referee.
With innovation, with innovative moves still. Shawn Spears did some really cool innovative stuff. So did even the placement of what's his name? Of Cody's. Usually he drops to his butt and throws that uppercut that he took from his brother, right? Mm-hmm. From Goldust, except Cody's is on his back. Anyways, even that, he made the guy swing twice, made him duck, and then it made the guy bend over, which set him up better for it. There were so many cool things they did that were very creative, mm-hmm. I thought, and how they got to certain things in their match and their story that they told out there.
Yeah.
Cody freaking batting 1,000, by the way.
Yeah, I had tweeted this. Like, back when he was in WWE, I remember, before Stardust, I just didn't see Cody as a main event guy. And now it's like, how can you miss it? He just looks like a superstar.
I honestly remember thinking DiBiase Jr. If there was a gun to my head and I had to pick one, I remember thinking DiBiase Jr. would be the bigger star between the two, just because he was a little bit bigger. He looked a little bit cockier. So as a heel, I could see him. I don't know. Cody was just like, he screams baby face, I always mm-hmm. thought. And he was a little underdeveloped in his physique still. He was still growing. He was young as hell. I remember like yesterday when he started, he was so young. Mm-hmm. But anyways, now, I mean, dude, he's the epitome of a main event talent. Yeah. Oh my God, even when they threw the chair, for instance, innovation, that having to do flip flop and fly, he throws a chair to they implemented the chair very well in this story, in this match, don't you think? And then he threw the chair to Spears and hit, the disaster kick. There's some cool things they did here where mm-hmm. it wasn't just old school wrestling where somebody's going to say, oh, this is boring. They were very innovative and up, I thought, in how they executed things.
Yeah. So yeah, the Finnish Cody channeled Dusty for some of his punches, did a little shuckle and jiving. Is that right? Shuckle and jive? I don't know.
It's shuck and jive.
Shuck and jive?
But anyways, yeah, he did. Dusty's bionic stuff that he normally does before hitting. It was pretty sweet. The crowd popped huge.
Yeah. Then he landed the disaster kick while Spears had the chair in his hands. Hit the crossroads, got the win, clean victory. After the match, MJF came in, celebrated with Cody, and he teased turning on Cody, which he's been doing on being the elite. So they're clearly headed in that direction. But it's cool setting up the story for the future. I thought everything about this match was great. You had your surprise, you had a hard fought match, you had your stars, and then you set up the storyline for the future.
Really quick. I can't believe I did not start this off with because Brandy Rhodes.
Brandy
Rhodes. Yeah. What's wrong with me? And being the elite, cut a world beater promo on behalf of Cody to Shawn Spears for the upcoming show, right? This upcoming match. Let me tell you, she is such a star. It's not even funny. And not just from her look, her talent. She's gotten so much better in that ring as well. How WWE did not throw everything it takes to keep her there is beyond me. I don't care if Cody had left, and she's talented as hell. And her promo, I would argue, was the best thing setting that match. If you go, please, fans, I encourage you, go back. I'm not trying to get being elite like a bunch of fucking reviews here just for the hell of it. Go back and watch. I think it's the latest, either AEW YouTube or it's the Being the Elite. But one of them, Brandy cuts this awesome promo setting up this match. Yeah. And I believe every word she said. And she's done this multiple times now, Raj. She's a hell of a promo.
She's great. My only issue is when she's a heel in one segment and a baby face in the next.
It happened tonight.
Yeah. There's Stephanie McMahon her, Just be a heel or be a face. I think she's a natural baby face.
She is. She definitely is.
Yeah.
She definitely is. You want to cheer her.
Yeah. And she's great.
She got a good heel promo, though.
Yeah, I mean,
her promo was nasty, but I guess you can't really consider her a heel because it was her husband who just got busted open. She's defending. Yeah, she's a great baby face.
Yeah. But anyway, I between this and Pac and Kenny Omega, these two were the matches of the night.
This was my favorite match that night.
Yeah, it was great stuff. Up next, we had the ladder match for the AAA Tag Team Championship. Lucha Brothers versus the Young Bucks.
Sorry, I'm taking it back. This was my favorite match of the night.
This match was insane. Everything you'd expect, a ladder match between these guys. Towards the end, there was a spot where
the Canadian, what do you call it, Destroyer? Wasn't a Canadian Destroyer he threw at him upside flipping Walanda pile driver through the table?
I know. Yeah, I think so. It was something like that.
He pile drove him through the table on the top of the ladder, dude.
Yeah. I mean, it was just nuts.
You say, okay, dude, and at this part, you're going to do this to me? I could never say that.
Yeah. He did a Canadian Destroyer from the top of the ladder through a table.
Yes. Yes.
Nuts.
Insane. There's no... I watched it back, and I kept pausing it on my phone, trying with it the best I can with the Bleacher Report app. But, dude, I couldn't find anything wrong with it. He could not have done that any more picture perfect.
Yeah. By the end, though, I was starting to get worried about these guys. I'm like,
I was too.
Someone's going to die.
He hit his head. I'm surprised he wasn't busted open. He being Nick Jackson. When he went through the double tables at the end there and he crashed and burned, remember?
Yeah, so he was climbing the ladder, and then I think it was Phoenix it was Phoenix that pushed him off. His feet got caught like on the top ropes, and so he kind of stumbled and hit the first table. Didn't go through the second. It was ugly. It looked really dangerous. Even the fans.
His head hit that second table, though. He hit the corner.
Oh, did it?
The side of it. And I'm like, how is his head not split open?
It looked brutal. Yeah. And then after that, there was another spot with Matt where it looked like he was just going to break his back on the ladder. So it was starting to get like I was like,
this was you gotta say one thing. They kept saying how they were going to figure a way to up the ante in this match. I'm like, guys, how is this even how is that even possible?
Yeah.
Like, you guys, there's no way to do this. You guys have,
Yeah.
But I will say they did.
Mm-hmm.
They definitely upped the escalation. They escalated the risk and the chance a lot more, I thought. And I'll be honest, as a friend, I was terrified. But like as a fan, I'm not gonna lie, I was popping left and right for it all because it's stuff I can't do, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going, I can never bump on the ladder the way that these guys are doing it. And then again, the Canadian Destroyer, that should have been the finish, obviously. But I mean, I can argue that for so many of the moves in these matches. But
yeah.
And then also they did a lot of cool. It depends how you look at this, Raj. What did you think of the tandem spots and offense by opposing teammates? You see what I'm saying? When they both climbed the ladder. What's his name? The younger brothers of each team climbed the ladders, and
they were both on the other sides outside the ring,
like daring each other. You do it. You do it.
Yeah. Like, all right, we'll both do it.
Daring him to swanton bomb your brother that's laying on the table down there. That's screwed up, man.
Yeah.
But
it was.
That part was, at least it was different, though. I mean, I'm a fan of tandem offense, even though this was by opposing teammates.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things that does come across as very choreographed. But,
that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
At times that could be tough to take. But again, then I put my wrestler hat on and watching it from a strictly athletics perspective and going, holy, I did that a lot tonight. Like, I can't believe they just did that.
Yeah, when it looks super cool, it's easily.
I guess that's what happens because I don't come down on them like going, what the hell is this? This makes no sense. These guys should be dead. I should be saying that, but I'm not going to pretend this wasn't my favorite match because it was. I loved it.
So if I would have told you that the Young Bucks would get the loudest boos on an AEW pay-per-view, I don't think most people would believe it. But there was this spot where Pentagon and Matt Jackson were on the ladder, and Matt Jackson pulled off Pentagon's mask, and everyone just started booing. I mean, they were just pissed at the Bucks for doing that. It was a great spot.
It was a great spot. Yeah. I thought it was really good, and I thought, wow, this is the finish. Then he got super kicked. Ray Phoenix jumping off the top rope, trying to intercept him and knock him off the ladder. He hit a super kick. I'm like, oh, that's the finish. Wow, good finish.
Yep. Lucha Brothers hit Zero Fear, which is a cradle
course
pile
they
driver
did.
with a diving double stomp to Matt on a ladder that was on the apron in barricade and got the win. So
Can he please stop saying that? He says it too much. It's annoying as hell.
Which thing was that? Oh, the
Whatever that. Like he does it like 59 times a match.
yeah. Yeah, no, I agree.
And he curses like crazy. The things he's saying out there, you guys, are not very nice in Spanish. What he's saying out there.
There was a lot of cursing on the show, but Jim Ross was cursing on commentary a couple times. I think he said shit and said ass a couple times, which isn't a big deal. But
he said SHIT when?
Yeah, it was early. I don't know if someone was chanting "Holy shit." I'm forgetting exactly what he said, but he's like, "Yeah, holy shit indeed," or something like that. If someone in the chat remembers, please let us know. But it was something like that. But yeah,
I thought this was my favorite of their matches with them, for what it's worth.
Yeah.
And also, the other thing is they got to get those tag championships. I know they're a new company. I'm really looking forward to getting the tag team championships because I really want AEW to do great. They're giving props to that other company, AAA, by having those be these prestigious titles that these guys are climbing and trying to kill themselves to capture, right? It would have meant more. If those were AEW tag team titles. I thought.
Yeah, I agree. These guys in the chat.
What did they say? Tell me.
JR at one point said she squirted. I think it was Rijo.
Do you even think he gets that though? Like, he really understands what he's saying?
All right, let's get this back on track. So after the match, LAX came out. And two masked men came out and they attacked both the Bucks and the Lucha Brothers unmasked, and it was LAX, Ortiz and Santana. So the last version in Impact. It's not known yet if they're going to be keeping those names. Apparently, Impact was thinking about allowing them to take the gimmick, even though they came up with it, and Ortiz and Santana didn't originally have it.
Really quick, fans in the chat room, which LAX do you prefer, Hernandez and Homicide, or these two guys? Let me know, please.
All right.
Anyways, so they're thinking about what? Taking LAX the name?
I think so.
Yo,
that's a big mistake.
Shawn Hernandez is going to show up on the front door. I would want to answer that.
Yeah.
John, you don't have to sell it. Or Homicide. Homicide's crazy.
Yeah. So for me, it's Homicide and Hernandez, but these guys are very talented.
They are.
And so far everyone's saying Homicide and Hernandez. But
all right, good.
But yeah,
that's what I thought too.
Yeah, fans pop for him. One of the good things I thought was there were a lot of rumors that LAX might be Chris Jericho's partner on the TV debut because he's got two mystery partners. So I don't think that's going to happen now since they already revealed themselves.
It just doesn't feel like they're the big LA. I don't know. I know you just said it, but like they don't feel like, to me, that it's not like real LAX to me. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. But fans pop for it, so yeah, they're with AEW.
Pop very loudly for it, actually.
Yeah, they got a great reaction, which not many people watch Impact, so I'm not sure where they know these guys from. But
they have every smart mark in the world at these shows. So
yeah,
they do. You can tell. For them to pop for Orange Cassidy that way is a good indicator.
Yeah.
Boy Wonder over here just discovered, him like 3 months ago, 4 months ago. So for fans pop that loud, they're just fans that are really in the know.
Yeah. Up next, we had the main event for the inaugural AEW World Championship: Chris Jericho versus Adam Hangman Page.
The Hangman. Can we call him the Hangman again?
The Hangman, as Jericho refers to him. Yeah, I don't know. I thought Jericho's looking a little older here. But he's definitely the superstar of the show. He came across as a star. His entrance, just everything. He looked the part. He looked like he was important. He looked like he was special. And he just has this aura about him now.
He's a rock star, literally.
Yeah. So And I think it kind of took away from Adam Page a little bit because Hangman didn't look as big of a star.
Right, and now that's their deal. That's the company's deal to continue to put him out there in platforms and methods to get him more over, to establish him more. I saw that promo you talked about doing Cowboy Bleep, and I was like, that was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And that they keep going back to the well with that. There's more things that he's probably got in him that they've got to pull out of him, but more importantly, they got to freaking run the camera on him to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And they've got to do more of that. They did not. He's going into a world championship match, the first one ever. He's definitely a guy I built that company around, no question about it. He's everything you want, a quintessential babyface. There's no question. He sells. His offense is great. He looks great. You know, you can see chicks think he's attractive. Guys think he's awesome in the ring and cool. Somebody you want to drink a beer with. He checks all the boxes, in my opinion. I think he does more than anyone else on that show, quite frankly. That's a big compliment because you got the Omegas and other guys in the Bucks and other guys that I'm huge fans of. But that dude, man, his potential is unlimited. And it's up to them, though. And I'm hoping on TNT they can do this. Is they've got to figure a way to bring some more out of him, but continue to get him in positions. They got to figure out where his strengths are and where his weaknesses are. Once they figure out what his strengths are, they got to continue to blow those strengths up. That's what Jericho does. Jericho doesn't have any real weaknesses at this point, right? So it's easy for him to go out and continue to be Chris Jericho. He's done it for so long. You know?
We talked about this after the last AEW show where they had Jericho cut a promo and then Page just come in and attack him. Page should have been the one cutting a promo. You know, they should have been getting it on him. You know, like getting him that attention. Yeah, exactly. Because everyone knows Jericho.
That's true. That's true. So I mean, but then again, I don't know because I did like the fire from Page in that fight, right? But they still could have done that with Page being the one to cut the promo. Jericho could have came out and tried to attack him, and it could have been reversed. Then he could have. Whatever have you, but still, I just they've got to figure a way to do more with Adam Page to get him more over. It can't just be relied on being the elite. It can't be stuff like that.
Yeah,
it's got to be like vignettes, in my opinion. It's got to be bunches of other things, setups of matches and run-ins and angle stuff backstage. It's the whole kit and caboodle they need to do with him because I think he is such a quintessential babyface.
Yeah, and he's going to be a huge star. I mean, he's got it all.
Has WWE written all over him, in my opinion, for what they usually like. And they'll screw it up and make him cut his hair so Adam Page stay right where you are.
Give him the Chad Gable haircut.
Right where you are,
brother. So anyway, yeah, these guys, I mean, this was a fight. It seemed a little sloppy at times, but they worked hard. I mean, it was...
I dug that. That's what you thought was sloppy. I thought it was hard hitting as hell. What do you think of Jericho's a cut? He
got that like gash above his left eye. Yeah, I'm not sure where he got that, but he sold it like it was from Page.
He sold it from the discus forearm.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, it added. I thought it added a lot. So Jericho's just bleeding in the face. Referee Aubrey, what's her last name?
Oh my God, how do we not say that? She did awesome. She is their best ref, and I'm glad they acknowledge that because she is. She sells the best too, in my opinion. Yeah. Her reactions to all the moves. Watch her body language. Watch her facials. Yeah. She sells like the refs used to sell when we used to watch wrestling when we were younger.
Yeah, no, she was great. They pointed out that she was the first female referee for a world title match main event. So,
and you know what's cool? The coolest part about that, Raj, it wasn't gimmicky. They didn't do it because of the Me Too movement and women empowerment. It was done because she's the best they have.
Yeah,
I really respected that. I really like that.
They didn't make a big deal out of it. It's just like it was.
She's
what
our
it
best.
Was. Yeah,
she's our best.
Mention it in passing.
So, I dug that. I dug that a lot. And she is their best. And that's saying a lot with Earl Hebner on the damn roster, by the way.
Yeah.
But she is their best referee if you watch. Even her pull parts are more believable when she's involved in simple pull parts.
Yeah. At one point, she got in Jericho's face. Jericho kind of pushed her, and she really got in there. I mean, she showed a ton of fire. So
it works.
It was great stuff. So it was a fun match. Like you, by this point in the show, I was starting to get kind of.
It could have been Hulk Hogan and Andre for me at this point. I'm sorry, it's just so tiring at this time of night.
Yeah.
and I'm old. No, but that's a big part of it. I don't know what the answer is because these guys are now, all these companies are doing these 4-hour shows. So what do? Do you be the one company that does 3 hours? I mean, what do you do? I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah, I mean, it was, if you watch the pre-show, it's 5 hours. You know, it's just too long. But
the wrestling from top to bottom, I will stack this against WWE any day of the week. As far as from top to bottom, it's not even. AEW is always going to surpass them, in my opinion. For wrestling, just wrestling, I'm saying, not characters, wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say like an NXT takeover is probably better top to bottom.
Oh, well, NXT.
Yeah, but this has more star power and just feels different. It feels like a bigger show than an NXT takeover.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I definitely felt that. Yeah, and I'm not a big fan of pre-shows, but I tuned in tonight's. I always watch their pre-shows on AEW.
Yeah.
So far, I have.
Yeah. So good match at the end. Jericho kind of out of nowhere blasted Page with the Judas effect, and that was it. Got the clean pin, and he is the first AEW World Heavyweight Champion. I think that makes all the sense in the world. You're going on TV. He's your biggest star, most recognizable, and he's just great.
He is. I still think there's that argument, though, that could be made. You know, why I was hoping Adam Page would win would be because, well, we know who Chris Jericho is. Who is this guy with the champion? Wow, that guy must be really good with the title around his waist. Guy looks like $1 million, and Jericho's talking smack about him. Who is this guy? Who am I missing out on here? I want to learn more about him.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, but I guess that would be better for Adam Page versus what's best for the company, then, right?
Right. And I think he could do a chase now with Adam Page, and where millions of people are now seeing him. Well, we'll see what their audience is, but however many it is, they're seeing him going for the title as opposed to already the champion.
People are going to love him. That's my opinion on Adam Page. I think he has. Again, I think girls are going to really, really sweat him big time. He's going to be on TNT now, you know. So they've got to figure a way to, you know, do something with that. Yeah. And give him more opportunities.
Yeah. Hold on just 1 second. Just hearing some news here. So Kylie Ray has been released from AEW. Apparently she asked for her release and it was granted. So that was during tonight's scrum. So we have Wrestling Inc. is at All Out tonight. So we have scrums with Orange Cassidy, MJF on our YouTube. So definitely go check that out. Did you check out anything else this weekend? You had NXT UK takeover this morning. It's New Japan.
Sorry, I didn't know I was muted. No, I watch NXT UK takeover. Hell no.
So apparently it was a hell of a show. I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, it was good?
Yeah, I heard it was awesome. Like people are saying, match quality wise, it was better than All Out. That's what people are saying.
Now I'm gonna have to watch it. You just made me now go watch it before I go to bed tonight.
And Cesaro's on there, and I guess he had a match and just looked like $1 million. So,
gee, there's a shocker.
What else we got? Also, CM Punk, he did a panel earlier today that we covered on Wrestling Inc.
Also, the AEW jacking CM Punk's colors with the AEW logo. Did you see a lot of those T-shirts and hats in the audience?
Well, those are the Chicago flag, so they were in Chicago.
Oh, that's where Punk gets it from?
Yeah.
God, once again, folks.
So, but a lot of people think that. They think like all of that stuff's a hint that CM Punk's coming back, and clearly he's not, you know. So Punk on the panel, I mean, he just seemed like he was just done with wrestling. He basically said he wasn't going to be at All Out. Obviously, no one believed him, and he wasn't. One of the surprising things, people asked him about WWE, like if he would talk to him, and he said his exact words were, "I wouldn't not talk to them," basically saying if they called and had a really good offer, he'd listen to them. So,
of course.
Yeah, but I mean, they were on such bad terms. There's
no such thing.
Punk's a little more hard-headed than most.
Listen to me. You think he was more hard-headed than Bruno Sammartino was?
Yeah, that's
true. So I see CM Punk showing up on Larry King Live and someone like that, Ultimate Warrior, you know, and burying that company, pulling his car, driving over it, backing it up 12 different times, running it over again, especially during like steroid hearings and things like that, that could really bury the company for good. Okay,
Yeah.
if they still made amends, nah, I'm not. Yeah, Punk can still come back
So
on both sides.
yeah.
Time swings.
So anyway, yeah, we'll see. He's gotten a lot smaller. Who knows if he even he even
He
looks
got
the part
smaller than he
anymore.
already was.
Yeah,
Uh,
he's kind of
uh,
he's kind of
he's
skinny
always
now.
been. He's always been skinny. I thought.
Even smaller. I mean, just from his MMA training, he was fighting at 170, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, or was it 185? But anyway, so he's he's a lot smaller. So anyway, the Punk panel, he seemed like he was in good spirits.
Where can I see that?
So that's the pay per view. Remember?
Is that so? That wasn't for the $49 I just shelled out to watch this thing,
No,
right?
no, that's another $30. But you can read the recap on Wrestling Inc.
Oh, okay, I'll do that.
All right. Well, fun show, and the last AEW show, and the next one will be on TV on TNT,
TNT,
October
baby.
2nd. Yeah.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks before that, we got NXT. And just in a couple weeks coming up, NXT on Wednesday night. So it's going to be a crazy time coming up ahead. So enjoy your rest right now while you can.
It's exciting, man.
It is exciting. It's gonna be nuts. I mean, Fox, WWE on Fox, all this is gonna happen, in the next 35 days. So it's gonna be crazy.
Picked the wrong time to be a wrestler, dude. I should have told my parents maybe be born 20 years later and 10 years later.
I'm kidding. AEW. Oh, one last thing. AEW also announced their next pay per view. It's November 9th. It's called Full Gear. It's gonna be in Baltimore. Full Gear. At least they're getting away from the gambling stuff. It was starting to get a little. They were starting to run out of terms. So, yeah, that's about it. Matt, did you have anything else?
I do not. I'm good.
All right. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. Glenn Rubenstein will finally be back. He's been missing a lot of school here this month, but he'll be back on Monday. So it'll be the three of us again on Monday. Again, everyone in Florida, stay safe, and hopefully the hurricane passes by and doesn't hit. But
Minimum harm.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, everyone, and have a good one. We'll see you on Monday.
See you guys.